My name is Victor DeVore, and I'm here with Katrina Hickson. We're both from the District Office, District Student Services, and we're here for Flex Workshop 94361. We're doing a sneak peek on the new faculty portal and faculty self-service center. So thank you so much for coming today. So today our objectives are three-part. One is to provide a brief overview of the Campus Solutions implementation and to give you an idea what Campus Solutions is. Give you a sneak peek at the new faculty portal and faculty center, which is formerly the faculty web services. And then, of course, answer any questions you may have and gather some feedback. So to give you some background, Campus Solutions is the student pillar of PeopleSoft. So this implementation project started in 2014. Campus Solutions started with 5 people, kind of realized that wasn't enough people to do a big implementation piece, so it quickly expanded to 60 plus people from all 3 campuses and continuing education. Finance rolled out in 2016. The HR component rolled out this year in 2017, I believe in January. And Campus Solutions is scheduled to roll out in 2018. So we're the last pillar of PeopleSoft. It'll be a multiple phase launch for 2018, and the reason it's going to be multiple phases is because we have to do the implementation according to the regular business lifecycle. So on the student lifecycle, they apply, and then they could register at a certain point, and then they could pay for classes. So we're kind of basing it off the student lifecycle and all those things that are involved with it. So the first launch begins February 2018. And this is all geared towards the fall schedule. So anything that has to do with spring 18 and summer 18 will still be done using faculty web. Students will still register using Regi. Faculty will still be using faculty web services for your spring 2018 and summer 2018 classes. But beginning February 2018, the schedule development will be done in Campus Solutions. So the schedule preparers at each of the campuses will be working on building the schedule in the new system. We'll be processing financial aid applications, and we'll also be processing new and returning EOPS CARE and CalWORK students and the San Diego Promise students for fall of 2018. So again, this is very starting to get ready for the fall 2018 schedule. The college application for fall 18 will still be using the regular current application. We won't switch to the new state application, which is CCC Apply, until July. And the reason we're doing that is it's twofold. One is to help reduce the number of duplicates students we have in the system. And the second part is it kind of gives a good, clear transition for students, since everything they'll be doing in Campus Solutions really begins in the June-July timeframe. The second launch begins in June 2018, and this is the bigger launch. So it really goes from June 2018 all the way up until December 2018, even going into a little bit of January 2019. And that's where we're going to have the online class schedule. So in June, the online class schedule will be available in the new portal for students. Students will be able to register in the new system in July. Financial aid disbursements will be done in September. So paying for classes, creating and maintaining the student record. The student and faculty portal will be done in Campus Solutions. It will go live. Grades, grading, end of term processing, and graduation. So pretty much everything that you would normally do for fall, starting June, will be done in Campus Solutions. So that's our 2 big launch approach as we get ready for go live for fall 2018. And again, when we get close towards summer, we'll be sending out a lot of communication to faculty to say, if you're doing any type of grading or grades for summer 2018, still use faculty web services. But if you need to look at your class schedule or your class roster for your fall 2018 classes, that'll be done in the new system. So currently, we all know what this is. It's faculty web services is what we have now. So this is what the new portal will be replacing. But again, for spring 2018, summer 2018, you'll still use faculty web services. And for a little bit of a story of how we got there. The Campus Solutions team's been working on this project for over 2 years, going on to redeveloping, testing the new system. And we've been working with a faculty work group with volunteers selected by the college's academic senates. So they are your faculty representatives on the committee. So if you need to have any questions or feedback you want to provide on the portal, and as we send out more communication, You can either contact them or you could contact Katrina or myself. We'll be glad to take in feedback, answer any additional questions you may have. In addition, in the future, we'll be having some testing opportunities. So if you wanted to at least go in and dive in and test help us test the new system, we'll be sending communications out so you can start looking at getting a hands-on feel for it. Because that's really the best way to learn the system, is just to go in there and mess around and take a look at it. So the new portal is going to be called My SDCCD. My SDCCD is the new faculty, staff, and student portal that serves as the primary user interface with campus solutions. So a lot of the administrative staff that works in offices like the admissions and records, financial aid, counseling, they'll be working directly with campus solutions. But for faculty and students, your primary interaction with the new system will be through the portal. What's nice about the portal is we have a lot more flexibility with the portal. And based off of feedback from faculty, we're able to provide all the key information you need to have access to immediately in one area. So you're not having to go click around to get access to all of your information. And we'll actually go through a little bit of a prototype demo of what it looks like so you can get an idea. Another benefit of My SDCCD is it's going to be a one-stop shop really to help manage your rosters, view your wait list, do anything to do with class management, enter your grades, but you also be able to access your payroll, anything to do with your employee benefits, and also if you have any access to budgets or submit travel authorizations, it'll all be done within one place. So right now when you're logging into the portal to look at your employee information, what we're basically doing is adding then the classroom component to it. So it'll all be in one location, but we're going to completely redesign it to be a lot more user-friendly based on feedback we've received, and also to make it a little bit more streamlined in terms of giving you access to the information you need. So some of the benefits of My SDCCD is it's going to be in a mobile-friendly format. We're going to have expanded hours of operation. It's going to be easier to navigate. So one of the nice things about this new system is that our end goal is to have 24/7 access to faculty web. There may be some 1 hour downtimes at midnight or something just to run they call them PUM updates, which are huge updates that Oracle releases. But our overall goal is 24/7. And an easier to navigate format. So what's nice about this is it's responsive in design, and I'll demonstrate that a little bit. So if you have, say, for example, an iPad or an iPhone or an Android phone, you can access your class rosters from your phone. So it's really providing you that additional flexibility. And for students, it's great because they can register for classes on their phone. So if you give them an ad code at the class, they can just pop out their phone, log into their portal, and register for the class there. And the eventual end goal is we're hoping to do a single sign-on. And so what that means basically is, for example, you log into the portal, there'll be a link to Blackboard, and then eventually it'll be turned into Canvas. But if you click on that link and go to the LMS, it'll already log you into that LMS. So that's our goal for post-go live, but is to really give you the functionality of not having to remember hundreds of different usernames and passwords to the different systems you have access to, so like CurricuNet, TaskStream, I believe is the other one. So things like that to really give you a streamlined access to your other to the other areas. So with that, let's jump into the demo. And so this is the new login page. So some of you already remember the old when you log into your and access your employee information. So this will be the new login page that we're working on in design. And a little caveat, this is all still in prototype stages. So nothing here you see is final. If you see something that you want to make some suggestions or feedback on, please let us know. And we could always take that into consideration, depending on how complicated it is, of course. The URL will be my.sdccd.edu. Yeah. One of the first things you'll notice is there's two tabs, one for students and one for faculty and staff. The reason we're doing this is students always log in using their student ID, while faculty and staff, you'll still be using your current login information to access the system. So whatever you log in now to access your email or to access the current portal, it'll still be the same. One of the things we want to do for staff is that since it's now one area for students, if a student started as a student, they'll always log in their student ID. But maybe if they started as an employee but then became a student, then they have the option to log in using either option. We're trying to streamline that process a little bit with a single sign-on. But when we do go live, just know that when you do log into the system, it'll be whatever you use now to log into the portal. So let me go ahead.
Just probably an email address.
Yeah. So like, for example, it could be like your first letter of your first name and your last name. That would be the current login, but then for students, it's numbers. So let me. Log in. And we are making sure that the the portal works on all modern browsers. So as you can see, I'm using Safari. We're testing it with Chrome and Firefox and Internet Explorer, and Microsoft Edge is the other one. So when you first log in, you'll see that I have here 5 tiles to access different portals. So if you only have one tile, so let's say you're just a student, you would just go straight to the student homepage. You wouldn't really be able to select different dashboards. But for for faculty, you'll have access to your faculty dashboard, but you also have access to your employee dashboard. So you can switch between the two. In addition, if you also teach classes with continuing education, you'll have access to that dashboard as well. So let's click on the faculty homepage. And again, the icons there, they're placeholders. We'll be using different icons, and we'll try to get some feedback of what maybe the faculty icon should look like. So this is the dashboard. It'll have welcome and your name at the top. So right here, you'll see on the top left, we have the college faculty schedule. If you are able if you are assigned your classes for the next semester, so let's say right now it's it was summer, but let's say it's spring 17 and you received your fall 18 classes assignments, then that option will be available for you to click on, and you'll be able to find out where your classes are in the fall of 18. In this, you'll have this number. In PeopleSoft, it's called the class number. We refer to as the CRN number. So it's basically your unique identifier to the class specifically you're teaching. So you have the subject, the course number, the location of the class, the description of the class itself, enrolled, if it's on campus or off campus, and then the meeting pattern times. So one of the feedback we've received so far is for the enrolled. Right now it just says how many students are enrolled in your class, but one of the feedback we received from faculty is it'd be nice to see the cap. So for example, this ESOL class has an enrolled of 20, but maybe let's say the cap for the class is 30. So one of the things we'll try to work on is adding the cap of the class. You know how many students, what's the maximum capacity of your class. When wait lists are available, you'll be able to see the number of students on the wait list. And a little bit later, we'll show you what the class rosters will look like. And then you have the meeting patterns, as well as, let's see. Oh, and as I said before, yeah, if it's on campus or off campus, or if it's a hybrid class, if it's online. On the bottom left here, you'll have the faculty assignment. So for any of your your total load. So your classroom and non-classroom assignments will be here. On the middle, you'll have your academic deadlines. That's just the college academic deadline calendar. If you click on, and I'll show you a little bit, if you click on each class, you'll have your classroom-specific deadline dates. That'll just be the college academic deadline, so very general. It's based off the academic calendar. Right here, we have the important numbers. So what we're trying to do here is make that based upon where your teaching assignments are located. So for example, if you're both teaching at Mesa and City, you would have both Mesa and City facility contact information there for you. But if you're just teaching at Mesa, it'll just show you Mesa's contact information. We're trying to make that contextual so that if you need access to call like help desk because something's wrong with the computer or if the projector's not working, you'll have access to important information, contact information. On the right here is faculty quick links. So what we have here is all of the big links that you have access to. Again, this is a working prototype. We're trying to work out all the little bugs with it. But one of the things we did want to make sure is try to capture all the important quick links that you'll need access to. So the to-do list, access to your email through Outlook if you use it, faculty web, and that'll eventually go away once summer 18 ends. But we just want to at least give you a quick way to access it if you need to do something for summer 18. textbook requisition, the class schedule, Curricunet, Flex, Blackboard, which eventually switched to Canvas. The employee portal just gives you a quick way to get back without having to click back on the home page. Task stream, and if you are also a counselor as well, access to the Counselor Center. And then at the very bottom, we have documents and forms and help and support. So these are basically all the forms that you have access to on Faculty Web Services, the exact same forms. Then, of course, help and support link here at the bottom. So one of the nice things about this also is that if you have, let's say there's a deadline that's passed, like your census roster deadline, it'll let you know in this little notification up here that one of your class's census rosters is due, and it'll let you know which class that census roster is due. And when you click on the course number here, it gives you a contextual menu, a submenu for that specific class. So if you click on class roster, you'll see the class roster for the class. If you click on class deadlines, it'll give you the deadlines for that specific class. And the other thing we wanted to demonstrate a little bit here is the responsive design. So if I shrink this window, it automatically resizes the window to fit in your mobile phone or iPad format. So you can click on this tab, it'll expand the college faculty schedule. If you click on faculty academic deadlines, it'll expand that section as well. So we're trying to make it as little bit of a responsive in design so that it's accessible to your mobile phone or iPads as well. And it'll be the same thing for students, so they'll be able to access their portal as well. So the next thing, I'll briefly show you the student portal. Oh, and the other thing is there's multiple ways you can switch between your different dashboards if you have access. So you can click on the home one, it takes you back to the home page. You can also click on the top, and it gives you access to any dashboard you have access to. So if we click on, say, student, if you also happen to be taking classes, it'll give you access to the student dashboard. So this is a sneak peek at the student dashboard. So depending on what classes you're registered in, you can click on each tab and quickly access which classes you're registered in. If you click on the grades tab, any grades that have been submitted, you'll be able to have access to. And what it does is it'll take your current semester and the last 2 semesters. If you need access to further grades, you can click on course history, and it'll take you back, and it'll show you your entire class history. So they have access to their to-do list, finances, literally all the information that they have access to now through Reggie, they'll have access through here in one location. What's really nice is that we are introducing a notification system for students. So if they have, for example, a hold because they forgot to turn in their textbooks back at the library, or if they owe fees, or if they have a message that was sent to them, there is a link to Blackboard here. And again, the icons are temporary until we finalize them. But when they click on here, and we can, what we're trying to do, since we're switching to Canvas in spring of 19, is we're going to do the single sign-on for Canvas because we don't want to do it again for both, just for one semester. So for Canvas, the goal is they click on the Canvas link, it'll log them into Canvas. So with that, let me go back to the presentation here. So this is the demo prototype of the portal. The goal is that by the time early spring rolls around, January, February, we'll start communicating out to faculty opportunities to beta test and actually go into a working prototype of the system. So we might see if we can bring in some data from a previous semester so you can start taking a look at what that would look like in the new system. So with that, let me go back to the presentation. Okay, so again, My SDCCD is the new faculty portal. So what we're going to do is once you click on that little icon here, you remember that sub-menu that pops up, you can click on class roster. So when you do that, it'll take you to a list of classes. So this right now is in PeopleSoft. So what the portal will do is when you click on, say, my list of classes, it'll take you to this page, which shows you all of your classroom assignments that you have for this semester. You'll see here that you'll have little icons here. So in PeopleSoft, and you'll have an icon legend. That's one way that you can access the different aspects for the class. So your class roster, your grade roster, attendance roster, add codes, follow-up. The other way you can also do it is through the portal, through that submenu click. By clicking on that little submenu, click on say, grade roster. It'll take you to the grade roster to this class. So there's two ways you can access what you need to manage your classes through Campus Solutions. We just wanted to give people a variety of options to do so. You can use either option. Let's say once students register for classes, like for example, this English 49 class, no one's registered in it, so the class roster isn't available. But once a student does register into the class, you'll see this little people icon. And they'll be able to click on that and you'll be able to click on that to access your class roster. So this was this is the deadline dates. So from here you can see that one of the things we're trying to do is change the description on this side. To be a little bit more helpful, because right now that's PeopleSoft delivered descriptions, and we're going to change that to make it a little bit more understandable. So for example, instructor last day to drop, instructors must submit the drops by 12 noon, but students have to drop by this date up here. So we're trying to make that a little bit more clarified for you. So the next one we have is the class roster. So it's a little bit hard to see here. But here you'll see all the list of all the students that registered in your class, their student ID, their name. So right now there's a little indicator that says that they're a Fed student. In PeopleSoft, you'll just see a column here with a little box, and the box will be checked. What's nice about this setup here is that you can click on the Fed header, and it'll sort the list of students for you. So if you just want to see all of your Fed students up here, just click on the Fed icon and it'll sort all the Fed students at the top and the non-Fed students at the bottom. And you can do that for any column really. So you can just sort by name, you can sort by ID. It gives you some flexibility on that. The next is the withdrawal column. So the student withdrew from the class. If they were reinstated, it'll let you know if they were reinstated. And then the never attended. So if a student never attended and you mark them as never attended, it'll show here that the student's been never attended, and they'll have a little checkbox next to it. So where the arrow is there's an enrollment status. So you can just say, give me all the students that are enrolled in my class. And it'll pull all the students that enrolled in your classes. And the other nice thing about the system is that you can also notify this. If you need to contact the student, there is a notification way. You can either notify specific students or you can notify all students in that class. Of course, one of the feedback we have received so far is if there would be nice to be a way to email every single student that's registered in all of your classes, but that's something that we'll put on our list of enhancements down the road that we could take a look at. There is an Excel format, so there it is. So this icon, which you clearly cannot see, it's a little icon that looks like an Excel sheet with an arrow out. If you click on that, every student that's listed here will pop out into an Excel formatted file. So the next one's your attendance roster. Same idea, you'll see all the students that are in your class, and you can mark them as present or not present. So when we go live, there'll just be two options of present, no present, but one of the things that we are able to do with PeopleSoft is add different options to that. So it may be like an excused absence could be one of them, jury duty, or unexcused absence, for example. So it gives you more flexibility, and you as a faculty community at Mesa here can help us try to pick up different options you would like to see selected there. But again, this is just an easy way, and it is by week. So it'll show you, so if you type in the week of, in this case, Monday, May 16th, it'll show you for that week, so you could put in your attendance for that week. Next is the positive attendance roster. So if you do have a positive attendance class, this is the option you can do here. So one of the nice things about this is you can mass populate by day. So for example, if you know all of these students attended the 2 hours or 3 hours of positive attendance, instead of having to go to every single one, you can just put the number in there and select the students and hit save, and it'll populate the number of hours for that day. Next we have the add code permission number. Make sure we're still good on time. Yeah. So add code permission number. So this is, again, you'll have to see where all of your add codes are. And as soon as the student uses the add code, it'll put in their ID and name. So you'll be able to see if the student used the rad code. And again, as Katrina said before, with the when they register into the class, it's not official until they're on your class roster. So this is the follow-up page. Do any of the faculty use the follow-up functionality now in the current system? Okay. So it's very similar. You'll be able to use follow-up reasons such as time management, attendance, or if they need tutoring, and it'll send the student an email communication letting them know for that specific class so they can get any additional follow-up services. And then I think, yeah, so the last one is grade roster. So you'll see here that you'll have all the students listed in your class, but you'll have here is two columns. One column will be the roster grades. That's what you're going to be putting in as the grade for the student. The next column is the official grade. So it may be some cases where they're both the same, but there will be some cases where may be different. So for example, if you did a grade change form and you submitted the grade change forms to the Admissions and Records Office, you may initially put them as a C, but then when you did the grade change, it went to a B. So it gives you an audit trail if there is a grade change done, or if it's a report delayed, or if it's an in progress. So if you put the student as an IP and they fulfilled all the terms of the contract, and they get an A, you'll be able to see that the official grade is an A. You'll see here this student has a little drop-down menu. So when you click on the drop-down menu, it gives you a selection of possible grade options for that student. And then when you're done, all you really have to do is just, yeah, there it is. You just click on save and it'll save the transaction for you. So there is two options. Again, you can do the export Excel option, and then you also can create a printer-friendly version. So you can print it PDF or something, yeah. We're almost done. We are releasing a website called the Campus Solutions Center. It's going to be kind of a one-stop shop for all the information you need related to the My SDCCD implementation. So when you go to the URL, it's down here. The district website's actually going through a redesign. So I think August 27th, they're switching to a whole new design format. So when that happens, we'll be doing a big communication push to give people a link to the website. There's a section specifically for faculty that'll have all of your, eventually, it'll have all of your training materials there, how you can sign up for a training session, instructional aids, information and news that you might need to have access to related to My SDCCD. And if there's anything that you may need to know related to the system, or if there's any bugs that we are aware of, we can communicate that out so you'll know that we are working on it. And the other part is students will have the same section, and we're trying to do a lot of training opportunities during Flex for fall. We'll also be doing some training opportunities over the summer, and we're trying to squeeze in some time around April, May of 18 before finals begin for spring. Because we do know that we're trying to give as many training opportunities as we can to faculty, and we'll have a lot of the sessions recorded, so if you can't make it, you can look at it. And the other option is we'll be having some online training opportunities as well. So we're trying to give you a lot of opportunities to get used to the system. And it's certainly the best way is if you wanted to help be a beta tester, and we'll communicate that out in probably around early spring of when there'll be some testing opportunities. Because not only do we use PeopleSoft Campus Solutions, but the CSUs, I think except San Diego State, they all use the same system. So it's been out there, and a lot of the systems, they use the same, all three, HR, finance, and Campus Solutions. And that's why IT is really taking the security issue seriously, because this is something that's being exposed outside the firewall. So we want to make sure that there's enough safety precautions and redundant systems in place, so if something does happen and something goes wrong, we're able to quickly address it and make sure that both faculty and students are assured that their information is safe. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact Katrina or myself or the faculty representatives on at the colleges. And then we'll communicate out more training opportunities, of course. But again, thank you so much for coming and for giving us your questions and feedback. And we're using this to help improve the portal to make it friendly for everyone. So, all right, thank you so much, everyone.